Estimate by calculation using the assumed mean method, the mean and standard deviation for the data below. Right. So what we got? We have training runs completed and number of runners. So for example 50 there, that's 50 runners have completed between 20 and 29 minutes, or 20 and 29 training runs. So we have to do two jobs here to get 20 marks. We have to calculate the mean, and after that then we're going to get the standard deviation. So here's the formula for the mean. Right, the symbol for the mean there is called mu. It's a Greek job, right? Little tail on the front of the U there, that's pronounced mu. And the formula here is A plus this stuff here, and A is the mean of it's the midpoint of the first class. That's what A is. So to work out A, it's the midpoint of the first class. Here's the first class here, 0 to 9. So the midpoint of the first class, sorry, we add the two of them, 0 and 9, and divide by 2. So that gives us 9 over 2. So we get 4.5 for A. So let's write that somewhere down here over the way. A equals 4.5. So I'm going to get rid of this stuff here because we're going to need some space. Now these other items in the formula, this Greek thing, this sigma fu, that's the sum of some stuff, and down here sigma f is the sum of the frequencies, and c here is the class width. And the class width we get by subtracting, these are our classes here, and that's the 10 there is the lower limit of the second class, 20 is the lower limit of the third class, and you can see the gap between there and there is 10. The gap between these lower limits is 10, and that gap there is known as the class width. The gap between 10 and 0 is 10. So C, our class width, equals 10 minus 0, which is 10. So that's our class width, 10. Now to calculate the mean, we're going to need some extra columns here which we can add on to this table here. So the first column we're going to need later in our standard deviation calculation. We won't need it here perhaps, but it's the U column, right? Then we're going to need first of all we call this the number of runners. This is also known as F, or the frequency. Okay, F. So we've F and U, and then we're going to need our FU column. And for the standard deviation, you'll see on this exam paper that there's a part of the formula that uses FU squared. And finally, we'll also need then for later in the question doing what's it called, the Brian has gone here now, cumulative frequency. So we call it CF for short, cumulative frequency. Right, so I've just drawn in a few grid there to tidy up these columns. And the first column we're going to do there is a U column, and that's simply 0. 1 second, I'll get this pen working. We just go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That's it, right? Then the FU, that's just F multiplied by U, and you see we've lined them up here. F4 times 0 is 0. 10 multiplied by 1 is 10. 50 times 2 is 100. 30 times 3 is 90. 12 times 4 is 48. 8 5s is 40. 5 6s is 30. And then we're looking at the FU squared. So FU squared is the same as U multiplied by FU. The order is not important, you see. So U times FU is FU squared. So to get the guy here, we just multiply these two columns together. 0 times 0 is 0. 1 times 10 is 10. 2 times 100 is 200. 390s is 270. 4 times 48 is 192. 5 times 40 is 200. And 6 times 30 is 180. And the next column we're going to look at here now is the cumulative frequency column. Right, so to make this column, we just look at our frequency column over here, and 4, that gets copied across, and now we're started. And now it's 4 plus the next one. 4 plus 10 is 14. And 14 plus the next one. 14 plus 50 is 64. 64 plus 30 is 94. 94 plus 12 is 106. And 106 plus 8 is 114. And 114 plus 5 is 119. Now, what we'll do here, we'll go down to the bottom of the frequency column and we'll get the sum of all our frequencies. We'll add these all up together. So we have 4 plus 10 plus 50 plus 30 plus 12 plus 8 plus 5 equals 119. So we see the sum of our frequencies is 119, and this matches with the final cumulative frequency, which is a good check. They should always match. The next total we'll need the sum of our FU column, so that's sigma FU, and we'll add up all those values there. So 10 plus 100 plus 90 plus 48 plus 40 plus 30 equals 318. And now next up we have FU squared. So we'll add up all these guys here. So 0 plus 10 plus 200 plus 270 plus 192 plus 200 plus 180 equals 1052. So I'll just drop it down here a bit for space. Sigma FU squared equals 1952. And now we're ready. We already worked out A, the midpoint of the first class, at 4.5. We have our class width equals 10. So to calculate the mean, we use our formula up here. Mu equals, I'll just do it down here in the corner. Mu equals, or I won't actually, I'll make some space here, right? So switch to black. Mu, or mean, mu equals A is 4.5 plus, open a bracket, and we have a fraction. On top we have sigma FU 318. Underneath we have sigma F, which is 119. All multiplied by that. Stars really means multiply, same thing, same idea, multiplied by 10. So we can bang that all into the calculator, or we can do the inside the brackets first. 318 over 119 multiplied by 10 gives me 26.72. So I get 4.5 plus 26.723, say, to 3 decimal places, and I'm going to add that to 4.5, and I get 31.22. That's accurate to 2 decimal places. That's 31.22 what? That's the question. We need units now. It's 31.22 runs completed. So that's the average or mean number of runs completed by the runners in this set of data.